have to stop and make sure we pay attention to the life that we have. As we remember Alan, it's important for you to take with you that part of you that he left behind for you. By the way, if you didn't know Alan, don't feel guilty about not grieving. You didn't know him. We don't grieve for the people that we don't know. He wasn't a part of your life to have it taken away. A lot of people feel like they need to feel something when they hear about such a tragedy, and they don't have to. Today, a man died in Akron, Ohio. But you don't grieve for him because you didn't know him. In hopes, not in hopes, but I'm just assuming a man died in Akron, Ohio. I don't know that. But we don't grieve for those people we don't know. If you did know Alan, then you've had some part of you taken away. That's a loss. We're going to feel that loss and we're going to grieve. Grieve in whatever way you feel you want to grieve. There are no wrong ways. Personally, I like to sit down, I like to talk about Alan and the things that that remind me of Alan. That's what I like to do. I want to celebrate the life he had. You probably feel sad. You might want to cry. You might want to sit down and contemplate him and his life or whatever. All of that is whatever you want to do. That's okay. Some people get angry when they grieve. It's however you want. There's no right or wrong. Some people last night felt that they wanted to grieve by going out to the site of the accident. There's nothing wrong with that. When we were out there, I said to them, I always think it's weird that people post these like flower crosses and stuff at the site of an accident. I said, when I die, I don't want them to place a memorial where I died. I'd rather place a memorial about where I lived. Like when I think about Alan, I think about the band. Boy, it was about band. Through his good times and his bad times in his life, there was always one thing constant in his life, and that was the band. The boy didn't drop out of school until after marching season. Literally the day after, on that Monday. Marching season ended. That Monday he withdrew. He was not going to leave. He wasn't passing a single class problem. Except there. Because he was not going to do that. You were the constant thing in his life. Your impact on his life was humongous. I bet his impact on your life, if you knew him, was bigger than you imagined. Because when I read the things that were on Facebook, I see things like, when I was a rookie, he was the first person to greet me and make me excited about band. See, a lot of you, when you joined your rookie year, you spent your rookie year at pre-camp, not with the WIN section. So that may not have been the truth for you, but like Missy Grover has been gone like 2 years. That's what she remembers about her. So have you ever thought about the fact that when maybe you stood at the door and greeted somebody to come in, the impact that might have on their lives, the impact that Alan had on your life? I always remember that Alan went all out for anything he did. It was hard sometimes for Alan to do the things he didn't want to do, but if he wanted to do it, it was going to get done. He was a trumpet player at the start. Came up to me, Mr. Vrieze, I'd like to play the baritone. Alan, do you play baritone? No, but I will. All right, then here's the baritone. Mr. Vrieze, I'd like to play the bassoon. Alan, do you play the bassoon? No, but I will. I handed him a bassoon. I told him, I'm going to make you play in 2 months. It's like, okay. 2 months later, he sat down for his first day in band. He was bad. It was bad. It was awful. And by the end of the year, he played bassoon good. I was telling the Winds, I said, those are the days when you walked into the band room. You know how when you walk into the band room, you know you're always going to see the same people sitting around? Like it's the people that never leave, and you're like, they never leave. That was Alan. Back when the lockers were right here, I'd walk up, and here'd be Alan in a chair with his bassoon, and Desi over there with her book. That's the way it always was. That's the way I mourn. I mourn by remembering those things that I put here and I'd walk around with. That Alan's legacy will live on. If you go out and you say, these are the things that I remember about Alan, and I will do those things. These are the good things I remember, and I will live that way. Remembering that you might have the same impact on other people. Because we're not guaranteed tomorrow, we're only guaranteed today. 5 minutes from now, you're not guaranteed. That's scary. And you can't live your life in fear that one day it will not be there. Because that's not living. If you spend your life that way, then you've already been taken. You're just still here. You have to spend your life saying, this is the time I have, I will live it. It's amazing how many people go hiking and never look around. It's amazing how many people are like, oh, I'm really tired, I don't want to go to Caraway. Something as simple as going to an amusement park. I credit my parents with taking me to Disney World as a child. Some people are like, you can't remember that. You're right. I don't think I probably do remember many of the times. I was there the first year it opened. We lived in Florida, and I went there. I've been there almost every year my entire life. So of course I don't remember those first ones. But I bet it shaped me as a person. My parents let me live, even though I wasn't going to remember those experiences. They let me live part of life. And not everybody gets that opportunity. Lots of people have lots less opportunities than I had when I was younger. Keeping in mind now, since I live near Florida, since I live near Disney World, don't think we were rich, because we weren't. It was just something we did. It's like going to Frankie's. So you've got some choices to make as you grieve, as you mourn, as you contemplate what happened. First, don't try to make sense. It's not going to make sense. You will not be able to rationalize what happened. You will not be able to find a purpose for what happened. You will never know why. You can believe why, have faith as to why it happened, but you're not going to know, and you probably shouldn't. We spend too much time wondering why, when we should wonder, what are we going to do? Is your life the way you want it? So that if something were to happen to you, you'd be okay. That you'd be satisfied with that you took every moment and said, I will live this. I'm not talking about, what's funny about regret is that regret means we learned not to do something. We treat someone badly, and I regret that in my life. taught me to not treat someone badly. That doesn't mean that you've wasted time or done something like that. I'm talking about if something were to happen right now, would you be satisfied that you took the opportunities you needed to take? That the world said, here you go, and you took it. That's tough, that's tough, and sometimes we don't. There's been missed opportunities in my life where I go, dang it, I could have done that. But I'm satisfied with the fact that I have tried to live a life, not just be here, not just actively, not just sit and let life flow me along its path. I've actively participated in the world. Now, you don't have a whole lot of life yet to have discovered a lot of that. Now, but this is when you have to make those decisions. You don't have to discover the cure for cancer to be a part of life. You don't have to, make peace in the Middle East. You simply have to participate in the life you are living. And if you want to take Alan's death with you, then say, these are the things I remember about Alan. And they're going to be a part of me the rest of my life. And when I give them to the next person, and they make them part of their life, and I give them that, they give them to the next person, and they make it part of their life, Alan's legacy lives on forever. Whatever earthly legacy he had will live on in you. And that's a high honor. That's a high honor. So, begin thinking about these things. And then begin to move on and live your life. Just some thoughts for you. We're having trouble locating the parts to Hoda.